Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Alivo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. I am Allison Kinney. Good afternoon. A couple calendar mentions here. Ag Revolution and Amazon are collaborating for an exciting field day featuring Fendt and Amazon equipment in South Vienna on Wednesday, August 27th. Lunch will be provided. Please email rsvp@agrev.com for all the details. Again, that's rsvp@agrev.com. The second one here, Ohio Cattlemen's Association is hosting 6 free educational meetings covering topics like grazing management, reproduction, and herd health. Meetings include dinner and require registration. Visit ohiocattle.org for more information. Now let's look at those headlines. The USDA announced several new steps in combating the threat from New World screwworm marching through Mexico and closer to the southern U.S. border. Ag Secretary Brooke Rawlings paused cattle imports from Mexico and talks about when they may be lifted after implementing the new steps.
First, the pause will be as long as it is necessary until we get this under control. As it began to move northward, this was one of the first briefings I had. I was announced on November 23rd of last year as President Trump's selection. I had my hearing January 22nd or 23rd, I believe, and then sworn in on February 13th. This particular issue has been at the top of the list from the very moment that I was announced.
It's all about taking extra steps to protect the U.S. food supply and the country's national security.
We expect with these announcements and the aggressive strategy to begin to push back the screwworm, but when it was even at 1,100 miles from the Texas border, which is where we believed it had stopped until we got the report about 4 weeks ago that it was within 370 miles, even then we were shutting the ports down. So we've got a lot of data to collect, we've got a lot of work to do, but we have to protect our cattle industry and our beef industry in this country, and in so doing protect our food supply, and in so doing protect our national security.
Ag Secretary Brooke Rawlings. Next in the headlines, one of the most important independent measures of American crop production is well underway this week, amid several challenges which are making it harder than ever to predict yield. One of the crucial statistics driving the Corn Belt's economy. The 33rd annual Pro Farmers Crop Tour runs through August 21st and will send scouts to fields in 7 states to measure corn and soybean potential. Lane Aker, Pro Farmer economist and Eastern Tour leader, says they're eager to get out in the fields. USDA is forecasting some huge numbers in states like Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, Missouri, and South Dakota, based on the satellite imagery and feedback from farmer surveys. Akers said USDA no longer collects objective yield samples in August, so the crop tour is the first to broadly measure ear populations and pod counts from actual fields in the Corn Belt. They'll pull more than 1,600 corn and 1,600 bean samples.
Here's farmer and landowner John Prue.
We purchased the land about 3 years ago, and there was an old farmstead on there with trees. We were going to clear the land so we could farm through it. We thought we knew where the pipe was, so we didn't call to get it located. The work on our property led to the damage of a light crude pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
Now back to the headlines. While farmland sales were down for the first half of 2025, many of the farms that did not sell ended up as part of a consolidation. Paul Schaydig is Senior Vice President of Real Estate at Farmers National Company and says it's farmland staying farmland, just changing hands.
We see consolidation within those farmer operators. The farm operations continue to get larger. We see fewer of these small, they're still family farms, but they're not the small family farm that we came to know. And then we do see on the institutional side, we do see some consolidation where one fund might sell out to another fund and make a bigger fund. And we are seeing some of that.
Farmland has held its value by thus far in 2025. Schaydig says farm profitability will be the driver for the rest of the year.
If things kind of stay the same, I don't think we'll see much change. But if we see any hiccups that affect the farm economy in a negative fashion, I think we could see somewhat of a downturn in general. And, those geopolitical events, uncertainty, these tariffs and things like that are all playing a little part in in our U.S. economy in general, but really have an opportunity to impact the ag economy.
Paul Shadig of Farmers National Company. Now let's take a look at the markets. This market report is brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance. Learn more online at seedconsultants.com. September corn closed in today down 3.5 at 379.5. December corn down 3 1/4 at 403 1/4. March corn down 3.5 at 420 3/4. September soybeans down 7 3/4 at 1013. November soybeans down 7.5 at 1033 3/4. September wheat down 4.5 at 498.5. December wheat down 3 3/4 at 521 1/4. And August live cattle is down 40 cents at 236.32. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ohio AgNet.